afternoon, everybody. It is Friday, October 15th, and we're going to discuss a weather synopsis for the United States. We're going to start off. There's 4 different air masses that are influencing our country big time. Let's start off with number 1. High pressure system situated over Georgia this afternoon will be continuing to move southeast right off of the coast by tomorrow morning. This high pressure system is pumping a south flow of warm and even humid air up the east coast, bringing well above normal temperatures. In fact, this is unseasonably warm heat. A double, in fact. This is a late summer season weather pattern that's happening on the East Coast today. Temperatures might be breaking records south of the mid-Atlantic area, perhaps in North Carolina or South Carolina. But when you go up further north, records probably will not be broken, but it will be warm with high temperatures in Baltimore, maybe upper 80s, Washington, D.C., mid-80s, Philadelphia, probably low 80s. And tomorrow, we're even going to continue to see temperatures probably low 80s for Baltimore, even 80 degrees for Philadelphia tomorrow. But a sea breeze will develop in Atlantic City, highs only in the mid-70s. Let's go back to today because I just want to know, what does the audience feel? What do you feel about temperatures being in the 80s, those on the East Coast? It's like late summer. It's like not too hot, but it's just amazing. What do you guys feel? That is quite a response. That's what I thought, because that's what I would feel. It's hooray for sure. But in Baltimore, I want to know, but how do you guys feel in Baltimore over the fact that it's almost going to be warm enough to break a record, but not quite? Yeah, I love breaking records, and that's just too bad that we don't get to break a record. But it's going to be warm, as we said, nonetheless. I want everybody to realize the following. This is very unique. In the Chicago Tribune, it said the coldest temperature yesterday was 8 degrees, and it occurred, now get ready for this. Get ready for this one. It occurred 37 miles southeast of this little town in Utah. The newspaper, I don't remember it, but the newspaper mentions the little town. Now, I want to know, like, if the warmest temperature yesterday was in St. Louis, would the newspaper say the warmest temperature was 300 miles southwest of Chicago, Illinois? It would just say the actual town. So why does it say 37 miles southeast? Why would it do that? Again, it wouldn't do that by Chicago or St. Louis. Why would it do that then? Isn't that strange? Yeah, that really is strange. That needs a tremendous explanation. Who has this weather station? Is it on someone's roof? Like what? Where is it? How come this place doesn't have the name of a town? The Chicago Sun-Times agrees with the temperature. The coldest temperature in the U.S. was 8 degrees, but it says it was in Body Park, California. They actually have some clarity. Yeah, I know. It's so nice to have clarity. But you know what? As nice as it is to have clarity, it's so awesome to have humor. That Chicago Tribune, 37 miles. Don't you want to check? That requires like an investigation. And I hope you're listening to the instruments in the background because, that's definitely, it requires an investigation. And those instruments enhance the experience over here, don't they? Now, let's go ahead and pull ahead with the warmest temperature in the U.S. Now that we mentioned the coldest, the warmest temperature was in Falcon Lake, Texas. Once again, Falcon Lake, Texas, with a high temperature of I completely forgot what the high temperature was. I think it was 102 degrees. If it was 102, what is the audience feel about that, about it being 102? No response. No response. I guess why should that get a response anyways? It was 102 degrees. That's all. Maybe it wasn't 102, but I'm pretty sure it was. As again, we have that unseasonably warm air on the East Coast. Chances of showers and thunderstorms off in the southeast part of this country, especially Florida. Periodic showers also up in the New England area. Higher chances occur in the western parts of the area. But by tomorrow, we're going to see showers and thunderstorms develop all across the East Coast. However, the instability is not as intense as it usually is when a vigorous cold front goes by. But nonetheless, rain and possibly even heavy could occur. That's what's going on today. We have a strong storm system located off in east central Illinois, and that storm system has a barometric pressure of 29.7. It's going to be moving to just north of Cleveland today. It's going to be strengthening to 29.5 as it does, and then continue into southern Ontario, into Canada, strengthening to 29.3. That's actually considered rapid intensification of a storm system. I know. I also love it when storms intensify so rapidly. I definitely love it when it does that. So I'm glad the crowd agrees with me on that. Along the storm system, associated with the storm system, we have a cold front going all the way down into South Texas. Temperatures ahead of the front are in the 90s in Houston, Texas. But most areas are in the 80s for the southern part of the U.S. ahead of the front, and the 70s. When you head to the northern parts of the United States ahead of the front. Behind the front, we have temperatures in the 50s for the northern half of the U.S., in the 60s for the southern half, but then when you go down into Texas, temperatures are in the 70s. So it's certainly a 20-degree difference ahead of the front to behind the front. One of these articles pointed out that people should be on the lookout for the heavy rains associated with this front and storm system, especially because waterlogged trees, I know who's ever heard of this. Waterlogged trees may fall on power lines and people may lose electricity. I've heard of snow-covered trees falling, especially with leaves. I've heard of winds blowing down trees or tornadoes, but waterlogged trees falling down onto power lines? I hope the audience is not laughing at the fact that people are going to be losing power, because what does the audience feel about that? Okay, thank God. So I still have people with sensitivity in my audience. That's wonderful. Weather enthusiasts with sensitivity. It's just the waterlogged trees. I'm not even sure exactly who we're laughing at. I don't know who we're laughing at, but something's funny. I just don't know what. In any case, okay. In any case, that's really what they're saying. People should be careful about that. Is that one of the results of climate change, that we're seeing an increase of waterlogged trees over the years? Now, I don't really mean to make fun of climate change. It's just something other people do, so I decided to do it. But it's funny nonetheless. Even, you could take climate change seriously. No issue with that at all. I have spoken about that on a different podcast. In any case, moving right along over here, we have this is a good one actually. When you go into Indiana and places to the east, the Storm Prediction Center has put those areas in a marginal risk for severe thunderstorms. That means a 10% chance for severe weather within a 25-mile radius. The only problem is the National Weather Service says they really don't know if there's enough instability to even produce a storm. So there's very little chance for a thunderstorm. The chances of a severe weather are higher than a thunderstorm. That's just impossible. So let's just assume there's a 10% chance for both, but I don't really think that's true either. It's probably just people are expressing their chances differently, and that's perhaps what's going on over here. But the we covered the East Coast. We covered the system here in the U.S. Let's go over now to the West Coast and discuss the developing situation over in Los Angeles. Santa Ana winds are developing perhaps because of a high pressure system located on the border of Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming. That high pressure system is going to be moving into Texas tomorrow. But let's stay focused on to the